Welcome to Parlays and Paddles, Episode 1. I'm your host, Alec, here with co-host Matty Cush. Say what up, Matty.
How we doing, everyone? Happy to be here. Happy to talk sports. Let's go.
This podcast has definitely been a long time coming for both me and Matty. We're very excited that you guys are here today. Bear with us. We're going to be talking about everything sports, sports betting, fly fishing, hunting, all things outdoors. We're big fishermen, we're big rafters, and we are betting enthusiasts. So bear with us. It's going to be a dynamic podcast mixed of all those activities and more.
We'd like to say betting experts, but we go up and down. Let's be real.
We get better over time, and we get hot. We both get hot at certain times.
Mm-hmm.
And
Come ride with us.
And as you know, March Madness literally, technically starts today, but officially starts Thursday. We're recording Tuesday night, hoping to have this out tomorrow morning. There's a couple games that are going on tonight. They'll be going on tomorrow. They're not really going to be too impactful to our picks today and our insight tonight, but,
One game's been played. One game is going as we speak. The other two games are tomorrow. So
yeah, let's
jump
jump.
First four.
I think we just jump right into it, dude. I think we take a quick look at these brackets and we can go region by region and just say what stands out to us.
Yeah, sounds great. Why don't you get us started?
Yeah, let's start in the East. I'll just go off the matchups real quick. We got Duke Siena, Ohio State TCU, St. John's Northern Iowa, Kansas with California Baptist, Louisville, South Florida, Michigan State, North Dakota State, UCLA, UCF, and UConn Furman. Tell me, just looking at this, as if it's your first time, what stands out to you? What are you excited for right now?
Yeah, so Duke has been a dominant force. No one has anything bad to say about Duke. I do see them prevailing here. I'll leave it up to kind of like the gods as we continue through kind of the bracket. I don't see Kansas going very far. I do think we see a Kansas-St. John's matchup in the round of 32, which I do believe St. John's prevails. The one dog that I got in this region is South Florida. I got South Florida beating Louisville in the first round. Louisville goes home.
I don't hate that.
South Florida moves on.
I don't hate that whatsoever. They've been dominant. They've won their last 10 out of 10 games.
Yes, they have. They then match up against Michigan State, so very nervous about that game. But why don't you take it? What do you see?
Just looking at the East right now, the East is stacked. I'll say it's not going to be an easy path for anyone to get out of here, Duke included. I think there's other teams in different regions that are going to have a little bit easier of a path. Two teams that stand out to me right now, Ohio State and TCU. I think that's going to be one of the best first-round games across the whole board.
I was going to say, you better touch on that game. You've been talking about it.
TCU's been hot. I do have a future on TCU, rightfully so. But Ohio State's also been hot. They've matched up really good against high-level opponents, especially in conference tournament play that we just watched last weekend. I think this is going to be probably the most competitive region, in my opinion.
So who do you got in that game, Ohio State, TCU?
Don't quote me on this. I'm leaning Ohio State. I think it could go either way. TCU has dogs. I just have personally been following Ohio State a little bit closer, and they passed the eye test to me. So I'm taking Ohio State, but I'm not taking a pick there. I think it could go either way, and I think either of those teams gives Duke a hard time moving forward in the round of 32.
Yeah, that was my last question from the East is, do you think the winner of this game takes down Duke?
I'm looking at Duke as a 1 seed, and we'll get to these other regions here shortly.
Sure.
But Duke is going to have a hard path. I know everyone, everyone either has them number 1 or number 2. I think that'd be silly not to. I think they've earned that. But they're not only, outside of round of 64, they're going to have a hard 32, 16, 8. It's going to be challenging for them.
My guy, you didn't answer the question, though. Does Ohio State beat Duke in the round of 32?
I'm still not taking Ohio State to beat Duke. I do think it's going to be a close game. I would maybe take them to cover a spread, depending on what that number looks like.
Okay.
Or TCU to cover that spread. I think either team could get there,
or.
and I think either team could give Duke a hard time.
Okay.
So I'll leave it at that. The next team that stands out to me, like you said, is South Florida against Louisville. I love South Florida. They've been really hot. They got big players. They're very physical. And Louisville doesn't pass the eye test to me. We watched them lose to Clemson just a few weeks ago, and I don't necessarily keep Clemson in high regards myself. I see that as the 11-6 upset in this side.
So I do as well. South Florida over Louisville. They then meet Michigan State. Do they have any chance on beating Michigan State? Are you going to go against Tom Izzo?
I think that's going to be a good game. I still have Michigan State. I still have Michigan State moving on to at least the Sweet 16. I'm not sure what South Florida is going to look like at that point. I mean, they're hot. I like teams that are hot going into the tournament and riding that momentum. Again, Michigan State, though, they have known players. They have veterans that are returning with Fears Jr. and Carr and probably a couple others, but those two put on a show every time you watch them. Yeah. If there's not 2 windmill dunks by Carr a game, it's not a Michigan State game.
Fair. No, I love that. I love that take.
Real quick, do you have an opinion on UCLA, UCF?
No, I was going to say let's move on to just kind of like our Final Four pick maybe in this bracket, or we can come back to it and do Final Fours after. Who do you see coming out of this bracket?
Yeah, out of this region.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah. Real quick, I'm happy to give my Final Four pick for this region. I'm still going to ride with Duke. I think it's either going to be Duke or a potential Michigan State. I think, in my opinion, I see UCLA moving on. I think UCLA could give UConn a hard time in round of 32, and then they would then play Michigan State in the Sweet 16. I don't think UConn's the team they were in previous years. Yep. I don't see UConn necessarily making as deep as a run as they typically do. I'm going with Duke my number 1. I'm going with Michigan State my number 2.
That we're aligned there. I got Duke, Michigan State in the Elite 8, and Duke prevailing going into the Final Four.
Cool, dude.
So for the West region,
move across the board. What stands out to me here? Most excitedly, this isn't round of 64, but I do think Arkansas and Wisconsin both move on. I think High Point could give Wisconsin a run for their money, but I think I'm going to lose sleep over the Wisconsin-Arkansas game.
Yeah, I think you should probably lose sleep on the High Point game as well. I also have Wisconsin going over High Point here, but that is an upset, that 5-12 upset that a lot of people are talking about.
There's a risk factor.
There's definitely a risk factor. So I'm going to pencil in Wisconsin myself. Hand up, for sure. I also love Arkansas over Hawaii. I mean, I think we both are pretty high on Arkansas going forward. We both have futures. That said, I mean, it's March Madness. Anything can happen.
Anything could happen. Arkansas plays so fast, though. They're averaging almost 90 points a game against anyone that they play. Yep. They're my favorite in the tournament. You'll see that as we move on here.
And Darius Akov he's playing on another level. Like, he's legit. He's legit. He is, they say, the top point guard? Is it the top point guard?
Yeah, top point guard in, I think, all of college basketball right now.
Well, that Coach Cal has coached in the history.
He has some competitors there. He's got, D Rose, SGA. Who else does he have as some high-level competitors there?
Wall?
Yep, John Wall. I don't know, if he can live up to the reputation that those guys have in the NBA, but looking at just college alone and those performances from those players in college, I think Darius Akov is the number 1 guard that Cal has had thus far.
Everyone's saying that he's the best. So I believe in Wisconsin. I believe in Arkansas. I believe Arizona's going to get to the next round. My one dog in this region, Utah State. Utah State over Villanova.
Yeah, I like the 9 over 8 there.
Mm-hmm. I think they're going to shock some people.
Yep.
Make it past. I do think they lose to Arizona. I think Arizona's pretty dominant, so I got them going on. But that's my one dog.
And let's give props to Utah State being the only team in the tournament from the Mountain West.
Yeah. Shout out Mountain West.
A little bit of cred there. Just looking into the round of 32 real quick.
Sorry, Miami, Missouri. What do you got there?
That's going to be a tough one. I think on paper you give it to Miami. I think on eye test you give it to Mizzou. I think in the way I'm going to be filling out my brackets, I'm going Mizzou there. And I'm excited for them to potentially play Purdue. I think that's also going to be another toss-up game.
This was a switch for me. I originally had Purdue. I did switch to Miami. I think Miami plays Purdue. I actually think Purdue moves forward
Oh,
and goes to the Sweet 16.
yeah.
Now,
I'm not doubting you there.
hand up,
I'm just saying get into that game.
I don't like Purdue. Like, I'm not
No.
a Purdue fan.
No.
I think that I've lost a lot of money on Purdue in the past.
Well, and they've been rocky these past couple games, especially losing a few at home,
Right.
leading into conference championship. So
Right. That said, they're one of those sneaky players that I'm going to bet on, but I got BYU beating them out in the Sweet 16.
yeah, you can't count them out beating Michigan in the conference play there. So I don't back Purdue myself either. I think they move on to the Sweet 16. That's kind of where I see their run ending.
So who you got coming out of this region?
Okay, coming out of this region, I'm still going to back Arkansas. I still think that that's a toss-up. I think most people obviously are going to go Arizona. I think that's going to be the game in the Sweet 16 between Arkansas and Arizona. Hopefully they both make it there. But if I think the winner of that game wins the tournament, that's where I'm putting my chips right now.
I love that. I love that. You're back in the Hogs.
I'm back in
I
the
love
Hogs.
that. I love that, dude.
And I think U of A has been the most consistent. I don't think I've seen a bad performance from them thus far. I've watched them, obviously lose to a couple really skilled teams, but there's nothing that I've seen that's like, oh, they have such an obvious flaw that I can't ride them. So
yeah.
I really want to see Arkansas, Arizona in the Sweet 16. I think the winner of that game wins it all.
All right.
That's me.
I like I said, I love that. I have Arkansas BYU in the Elite Eight. And I got Arkansas prevailing going to the Final Four.
Yes, I think BYU has the talent to get there. I think Gonzaga's also going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think we can, obviously talk more as the weeks go on. And
Gonzaga is not the Gonzaga that we know.
they're not, but I think they meet, in my opinion, and probably somewhat statistically, they're one of the most well-rounded teams in terms of both offense and defense.
Fair.
A lot of people or a lot of teams favor in one of those directions, that being Arkansas. They have an incredible offense. They are a little bit deficient on defense.
Kind of dog shit on defense.
They win by outscoring people. They don't necessarily win by stopping other people from getting buckets.
Fair.
So that's where I stand with Gonzaga.
Let's move to the South.
Let's move to South.
So I'm very high on Florida overall.
As you should be.
I'm very high on Florida.
They won the Natty last year.
I've bet on them in the past. They have come through for me. This is my team going into the Final Four. No spoilers here. We can talk about other games, but I got Florida moving
All the way.
all the way. Yeah,
You see them
going all the way.
So you think they're going to win the South?
I think they're going to win the South.
Okay. Who else are you concerned about?
So Vanderbilt's going to be their hardest game.
If they make it there.
If they make it there. So Iowa, I think they beat Iowa. I think they beat them handily. Vanderbilt's going to be their hardest game before, obviously, the Elite Eight. And I have Illinois in the Elite Eight. So I do have Illinois upsetting Houston, which is probably a hot take because people are very high on Houston.
Yep.
That said, I haven't seen a whole lot from Houston. I like, the explosive aspect of Illinois. So I have them playing Florida in the Elite Eight. I got Florida prevailing. This is kind of my number one seed section where I got Duke and Florida in both my Final Fours. Arkansas is a number 4 seed, so
Yep.
I got a 4. And I'm gonna save the spoiler for the Midwest.
If you guys couldn't tell, we're keeping it a little chalky as we get through the round of 64. What stands out to me, I mean, the games that I really want to watch, I don't think it's going to be an exciting game, but I'm looking forward to Iowa-Clemson. I hope Iowa moves on. I think they performed well against Michigan. They lost by 4. I think Michigan's obviously one of those top contenders. I think if you can hold your own against Michigan, I know Iowa was at home, but I think if you can hold your own against them, you can probably play ball with anybody. And I think they got a great player in Bennett Sturts. I think he's high on my radar for maybe having a breakout performance and possibly causing an upset. Let alone, I mean, I'm not talking just round of 64, but if Iowa moves on to round of 32, I'm definitely going to be locked in on a Florida-Iowa game. And do I think they're going to beat Florida? Probably not, but that's the game where I'm taking spreads for Iowa, maybe sprinkling something on the upset. I think they have powerhouse potential and maybe are underseeded in the South.
It is a good call, letting the viewers know, like, hey, we're taking Florida, but at the end of the day, Iowa can cover here.
Yeah, Iowa can cover. Is there any other teams? Let's just talk round of 64 real quick that you like a mismatch of.
Yeah. So just the round of 64.
Just for now, we can move up to the round of 32 here in a second.
No, not in this. So I do have VCU beating North Carolina.
I do as well. I didn't originally, after some judgment and
Due
persuasion.
diligence.
Yep. I like VCU as well.
So that's my 11-6 upset in this region. I like VCU. I mean, I'm really, really excited for the Nebraska-Vanderbilt game.
Yep.
I don't think McNeese does it over Vanderbilt.
I don't think so. Not after the performance we've seen out of Vandy.
And that's exactly right. Like, I think Vandy, the way that they showed up against Florida in the SEC championship was crazy. I think that Vandy matches up against Nebraska, who I do believe gets their first win of an NCAA March Madness tournament, which is fantastic. I'm already saying go Cornhuskers.
Yeah.
I think they make it, but that Vandy-Nebraska matchup is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I have Vandy going on, and so that's why I mentioned to the Florida stint that I went on, like that's going to be their hardest matchup.
Yeah, so you see a Vandy-Florida Sweet 16.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
But that Vandy-Nebraska game is going to be one to watch.
I fully agree there. I like VCU as well. I think Illinois clears, obviously. I don't have a huge opinion on St. Mary's, Texas A&M. I'm going to go Texas A&M just based off strength of schedule. I think they move on. I still think that's a coin toss. And then I don't think Houston faces a challenge with Idaho. Just looking here outside of Illinois and until we get up until the Elite Eight, I think Houston has one of the easiest paths in all of the bracket here. So I think watch out Houston.
I don't believe in Houston. I do have Texas A&M as well meeting them. I have Houston going on to meet Illinois in the
Sweet 16. Yeah. And I think Illinois comes out of that personally.
I do too.
I think their guard play is phenomenal. I think they have great bigs on Illinois. And
who's your Final Four pick?
Final Four pick out of the South for me. I'm still gonna have to go Florida with my just like I did for the East with Duke and Michigan State. I'm going Florida as my favorite. And safe pick, I'm going Illinois as my second favorite and riskier play. I'm not back in Houston this year, unfortunately.
That Duke Florida Final Four game is going to be awesome. If that'd be sweet. It'll be awesome.
That'd be so sweet. And
let's go to the Midwest.
Let's go Midwest. What stands out to you round of 64?
All right, so I got a dog for sure here. I went to Santa Clara. Santa Clara is a great school. I'm excited that they're in the tournament for the first time in like 30 years or something.
Yep.
Santa Clara is going to beat Kentucky.
Okay.
Santa Clara is going to match up against Iowa State in the Elite Eight. I think Santa Clara beats Iowa State and makes it to the Sweet 16.
I have Santa Clara as well. I don't know if I have them going to the Sweet 16. That means they would have to beat
Iowa State.
My Iowa State. Long story short, a little bit of foresight. I have Iowa State winning this region. So yeah. I don't see that happening. I love that pick for you. I'll root up for Santa Clara until we meet there.
Go Broncos. Go Broncos. Let's go.
Next game that stands out to me real quick. I originally did have Alabama over Hofstra. I don't love that matchup now.
Oh, you have them over Hofstra.
I did.
I think that it is. Did you change?
I changed my mind.
Ooh.
I'm going Hofstra. I think they could compete. I do think we have to expect some type of lower seed to higher seed upset. I think this is one of
Santa Clara.
Yeah, that's 10-7. This is 13-4 though.
All right.
I do think it has potential. And breaking news, not so breaking, but in the last day, one of Alabama's star players, Aiden Holloway, was just arrested for quote unquote drug trafficking. So he's not playing in the tournament. I know, breaking news for you. I didn't tell you about this. I did send you an Instagram post, which I don't think you saw.
I did not see this.
Not that they don't have other good players that could carry them.
To the listeners, I'm going Hofstra too. You just convinced me. I'm switching the pick.
I don't think one player should hold too much weight like that. I don't want to fully, psych you out.
No, but I think that's enough. Like it
I think it brings the team down too.
It brings the team down, right? Like the morale goes down.
So, and if I already saw it as a possible upset or a close game, I think that was just the cherry on the cake for me. So
this is fantastic news for Texas Tech, who is also a big player in this region for me.
Yeah.
I got Texas Tech coming out of this region. Texas Tech is my Final Four pick from the Midwest.
Okay.
I have them beating now Hofstra, who was Alabama, going and taking down the number 1 Michigan.
Okay.
Also making it to the Elite Eight from there, obviously.
Okay.
And beating Virginia.
Yeah.
So I think this is great news, not for like morality's sake, but it's great news for our Texas Tech sake.
Yeah.
And making it to the Final Four.
I wouldn't be so quick to count out Akron. I think they can also ball.
Are you talking Akron for the Final Four?
No, I'm talking just round of 64. Like Texas Tech's got to get past Akron first. And I still think that they will.
You think that's a 5-12 upset?
I think it could be. I'm not if you're asking me where I'm putting my money, I'm still betting on Christian Anderson, who's been stepping up since JT Toppin's injury. Yeah. I still think they, have better coaching, better pace of play. I'm still going to lean Texas Tech. I just think that this is one of those other close games. Some other regions, in my opinion, don't necessarily have that 12-5. And I think if there were to be one, this could be one of them.
Fair. Is JT Toppin coming back?
No.
He's out for the season.
Yeah, he's out for the season. Tore his ACL.
Well, okay, this is all subject to change for the record.
So
this is all subject to change.
That's not to say though that Texas.
Are we gonna have an Akron Hofstra?
That would be an awesome game. I would love that.
What?
Well, I mean, watch it happen now because probably everybody's putting
Akron Hofstra winner goes to play Michigan. I mean, supposedly Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan gets an easy road. Maybe if Akron Hofstra doesn't come to play, whatever.
I think
makes it to the Virginia game, maybe Tennessee game. Who knows? Maybe Santa Clara game.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I do think Georgia St. Louis is going to be a good game. I have St. Louis moving out of that, but I do think Michigan wins in a round of 32 no matter what.
Is this just going to be the Michigan round? Is this the number 1 round where we have the number 1 rounds on the other side with the East and the South?
I really hope it's not a repeat of last year where it's all 1 seeds in the Final Four.
Me too.
I'm not a big fan of that, as you know.
Me too, because I don't see anyone beating Duke, and I do think Florida is going to come to play. If anything, Vanderbilt's going to beat him, and then Vanderbilt-Illinois will be a great game.
I think a lot of people could beat Duke. I think they have the hardest path. That being said, I still have them winning the East.
You think St. John's?
Well, they got to get past the winner of Ohio
State,
TCU. That could be a crazy upset.
St. John's, and then Michigan State.
Then they have to potentially play St. John's or Kansas. I mean, I'm not counting out Kansas.
I am counting Kansas.
I didn't touch on them. I'm not counting them out. I think they upset St. John's, or I guess it's not upset, but I think they beat St. John's if they both meet in the round of 32. Okay. So, but theoretically speaking, they still got to beat Ohio State or TCU. That's gonna be a crazy game. Then they got to beat either Kansas or St. John, and then I think people at the lower end of that region can compete as well. You got a UConn or a Michigan potentially coming out of there. I think Duke's gonna have a hard path. So. Okay. I think if there's one region with the most potential for it not to be a 1 seed, I think it's Duke. I also think that's why they're in that region.
All subject to change for the listeners. All subject to change.
That being said, who's your...
I think you've probably convinced me to maybe go away from Duke. I agree. Like, looking at it, Ohio State over TCU, but I got Ohio State, St. John's, and Michigan State to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, it's like no matter what the winners of any of those games are, it's going to be freaking tighter than it is in a lot of these other regions.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, this could be the Michigan. This could be the Michigan region.
Well, to be clear, you have Michigan as your Final Four pick from.
Well,
the
I
Midwest?
had Texas Tech, but you reminded me on the JT Toppins. So
Now you're leaning.
I think I'm going to lean Michigan, and I think I'm going to change my East region, but that could be after the pod. My Final Four right now are Duke, Florida, Arkansas, and Michigan.
Okay, I guess just to be official, mine would be Duke, Florida with a potential Illinois out of the South, and then I'm going Iowa State, and I'm going Arkansas, which will probably end up being in Arizona, but Arkansas for now.
So the two that I changed really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. I still think it's Florida, Arkansas going into the championship. I have Florida winning it all. They dominated Arkansas. I got them. I have a future. I've been hammering that future.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a future on Arkansas, so it's a win-win for me. So I'm rooting for both of those teams. That's what I got. I'm going Florida.
I think this year,
to take it.
all the Final Four matchups are going to be crazy. Yep. I
Yep.
think any team that makes it to the Final Four can win it at that point, whether it's Arkansas, Iowa State, whether it's Michigan, whether it's Houston, Florida, Duke. I mean, it could be Michigan State, right? I think at that point it's a guessing game. I'm still going to lean Duke, Arkansas championship game.
Mm-hmm. With Arkansas coming on top?
Not because I necessarily think they're better than Duke, but because I think it's their year. So,
Coach Cal, let's go. Let's go. I would be very excited for that. And I would be very high on Arkansas.
Real quick, is there one Cinderella that you like? Cinderella, in my opinion, being not only an upset, but at least making it through 2 rounds.
Yeah,
that's some type of run for me. They can't just win one game and it's a Cinderella run.
I do, in fact, have a Cinderella.
Who's your one most favorable Cinderella matchup or Cinderella path right now?
The good old Broncos coming back after 30 years. Making it to the tournament. They're going to beat Kentucky. They're going to beat Iowa State. They're going to make it to the Sweet 16. Give me Santa Clara Broncos.
Okay.
They're big. They're fast. I like them.
Okay. I like it. I will ride you there. I think my opinion is also coming out of the Midwest. I don't love Cinderella potentials coming out of the other 3 regions. I'm either going to go Hofstra or Akron as my Cinderella pick. Again, these paths are not going to be easy, but I like those 2 the most, and I like the potential path the most. So
either of those teams are going to have to beat Texas Tech.
Which I think is doable.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more of a game to have to beat Michigan in the Sweet 16.
But they'll make it. Akron to beat Texas Tech in the first round, or Hofstra to beat Texas Tech in the round of 32.
Yep. Or like we mentioned
and they would
earlier,
have to beat Alabama the week before, or the day before.
Hey, or like we said before, we could see an Akron Hofstra. Who knows?
Crazy.
So, in which case, one of them is moving on to Sweet 16, which would be the Cinderella that I just declared being at minimum a 2-run win, a 2-game win. So
okay, all right, I like that.
So
I like that. I probably will change my bracket around to tail that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm most nervous about Akron, I think. I love betting against Alabama personally, but so I'm all on Hofstra, but maybe not Akron. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say for the listeners, part of our pod is each episode we're both going to come out with our favorite pick, and we'll keep track and record of those favorite picks, and me and Matt can race to 100 wins or do best out of 100, do something crazy as we get a little bit closer. And then on top of that, we're also going to come up with a minimum 2-leg parlay separate from our best bets as the official Parlays and Paddles parlay of the week.
Yep, correct. Hopefully we win money.
So out of either round 1 or a likely round 2, what is your official Matty Cush pick?
Matty Cush
that you're
pick?
throwing on their board, that's going to be part of your official record.
Is this part of the parlay?
No, this is not part of the parlay. This is your specific favorite pick for your record tracking. I'm going to give my official pick for my record tracking. Then we're going to both put in a separate pick for the Parlays and Paddles pick of the week.
And
Parlay of the week.
And are we just doing round one?
Round one, or you can give me a likely round two pick, assuming that both teams make it that far. So obviously, if both teams don't make it there, ignore the pick. That's an automatic L for you if they don't even make it there. But I'll take round one or round two, considering that our next episode isn't coming out until the beginning of round three. I'll go first. Just give you a little bit of time to think.
Thank you. You are putting me on the spot.
If you were undecided, I'm not putting you on the spot.
No,
I've told you to prep for this for a long time.
No, I know, and I probably have it here, but I'm like second guessing myself as I'm talking. So go ahead and you can go first.
My official Alec pick, personal pick, is Iowa upset over Clemson. That's my pick. I think Iowa's too good a team to be seated this low. I think they passed the eye test for me. Clemson, on the exact opposite hand, has not passed the eye test to me. I don't think they're one of those high caliber teams. I think Iowa could compete. Iowa over Clemson money line is my official personal pick.
Okay. I am going to give you two.
I can only pick one.
But I'm going to give you two anyway. Mainly because my alma mater is on the board. I think Santa Clara is going to beat Kentucky. That's my number one, but if I am giving just one pick here, I think Utah State over Villanova. I think Utah State brings it. Another 9v8 upset.
Yep.
So we both have picked those. But again, if I'm on paper, I think I'm going Santa Clara over Kentucky.
Okay, so that
10-7.
So which one are you putting your name on?
Santa Clara. Santa Clara.
Okay.
Spent a lot of money there. We're going to continue to do
Hopefully
that.
they repay you a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
For my parlay pick, this is, you're putting Matt's and I's pick together. This is separate from those two. I'm going Mizzou over Miami.
Ooh.
So hopefully you didn't have Miami over Mizzou there for your parlay pick. But
Not for the parlay pick on my bracket.
This is going to be something that you love, also maybe slightly riskier due to the fact that we're throwing it in a parlay to begin with.
All right, well, I'll use my second pick from the last one. So I got Santa Clara as my number one, kind of fun.
Yep.
For the parlay pick, I'm going to go Utah State.
Okay, so note it down. We'll start keeping track of these on our whiteboard here.
Yeah. So we got Utah State and Mizzou for the parlay.
Yep.
And we got Santa Clara for me and Iowa for you.
Yep, that's head to head. Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. I think we cover a good round of 64 right there.
Yeah.
I think that's enough March Madness for me, unless you have anything closing that you
No, I'm good. I'm
on.
excited for the games, guys. This is the best time of year. Go into work excited, have everything up on your laptop while you're working.
Yeah, I will.
How many hours do they lose every March Madness?
I don't know about hours, but I think like overall nationwide, like we lose $1 billion worth of profit,
of productivity. So I encourage us to bump that. Let's get it to 2 billion. Let's watch.
Let's get to 2. Let's double it.
Let's double it. Okay. Let's have a great time watching it. We're going to be not streaming exactly, but we'll
give some live reactions.
Yeah, get some live reactions. We're going to be posting,
and
look out for us. Follow us on social. We're excited. We're going to be watching together.
We're planning on dropping Wednesdays routinely moving forward. So our next episode 2, will be right after round 1 and 2 finishes, and we can give a little bit of recap on how our picks did, how our bets did, as well as looking forward into round 3. So
yeah.
That being said, let's touch on the second half of parlays and paddles.
Maybe the last quarter, last third.
No, yeah, in terms of timing, definitely. We're not taking up that much time, but in terms of the name. The second half of the name, paddles. Let's touch a little bit of outdoors. First question for you, Matt. I'm just gonna pretty much ask you a couple questions here. You can ask them to me back. What are you most excited for not only spring but leading into summer? What moments do you want to have? Hit me with them.
Great question. That's a great question. So I am newly acquainted with with Traeger smokers. So I'm excited to cook you the next brisket, Alec.
Damn.
I've smoked 3 so far. I've learned every time, and they have turned out pretty well.
And
so
I will say
I'm
they've
excited.
gotten better each
They've
time.
gotten
too.
better. I feel like they've gotten
And
better.
the first one was, top shelf to begin with. So the fact that you were able to make second and third even better than the first two,
I appreciate that. That makes me smile. I'm excited about that.
Maybe I'm most excited about that because I get to eat it. So
I will say we're gonna start incorporating like smoking meats, into the podcast. Chicken wings, briskets, like all kinds of different like just dishes, I would say.
Yeah.
To where we may even be eating them like while we're talking to you. Like, who knows? Like I could show off.
And that's a great point. Here. We are leaning March Madness heavy until the tournament's over, but just for the record, we are everything sports and everything outdoors. That being said, some good smoked meats is totally a part of that.
Yeah, like going up to the cabin, bringing up a brisket that you smoked.
Yep.
Having it in that parchment paper. Just
there will be a plethora of content coming your way from all things fishing, hunting, outdoors, rafting in general. So get ready, buckle up. There's a lot of good stuff coming.
And I will say, it's been probably like 2 months since I've caught a fish. So I need to catch a fish. I need to catch a fish. I need to catch a fish now. And it has to happen.
Well, that touches into my next question a little bit with we haven't been fishing the most this winter. That's very non-typical of us, only considering the fact that flows have been really bad and fishing hasn't been the best. Not that you can't go out there and catch a fish. We obviously
the max
could do that.
it's been is 150.
It touched 200 on the South Platte a few days, but again, it hasn't been convincing enough for me to go out there and spend a day there when that's what we do almost religiously every weekend, all from end of March till beginning of duck hunting season. So we're kind of saving and waiting for those better days. But I'm excited to get back in the swing of things. We're right at that time of good fishing. Yeah. I mean, soon enough we're going to be hitting peak spawn for the rainbows. They're going to be very active. Obviously, we don't want to be fishing reds. I don't, endorse that whatsoever. But the fish get their life of the year. Then they perk up a little bit. They start getting a little hungry, a little more movement. I'm very much so excited for some fishing as well.
Yeah. So what is that? What you are most excited for? Should I ask you the same question?
I think I'm most excited to just get back on the rafts. Yeah. As you know, we got 3 different rafts, depending on who we're with, sometimes a couple more.
We have an arsenal of rafts.
We caravan down the South Platte. A lot of people don't think it's possible to even put a boat in there. We put a 14-foot NRS as well as a couple other 9.5, 10-foot boats, and we'll take a party train down the South Platte. We have a few probably 5-6 mile stretch that we float constantly. I like to pride myself in thinking I've floated that stretch of Deckers more than anyone else in the history of Deckers, knowing that it's not notorious for rafting.
I think that's fair.
But
it's fair to
it's our cheap fun, and that's what I'm most excited for. Beers on the boat, rafting,
take a couple shots,
absolutely, and catch a couple fish along the way.
Couple.
Yeah,
just a few.
We hammer them sometimes. A lot of people that are watching right now may know me from my Instagram nymphing, so you know that we practice what we preach in the terms of that. But I'm definitely ready to be back into those spring months, feel the freshness in the air, the smell of clean cut grass again, and be back on the river with my buds.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different year for us too. We're both getting married.
We are.
Alec, you're getting married in May.
Yep, middle of May.
Married in July.
Yep. Turning some boys into men over here.
Exactly.
So yeah.
We're gonna have to make time for getting outside, doing something hard.
Yep, it's gonna be
doing
busy.
something hard.
That type 2 fun.
Coming back and chilling after that.
I love it, and we'll get more into that, and there'll be content, that corresponds with that as we get through March Madness here.
Mm-hmm.
I guess moving right along to our last segment of the episode. Thanks for sticking with us this long. Well, we're going to touch highs and lows of the week. Do you want to start first? Do you want to go second? Do you want to touch a high first? Do you want to touch a low first?
No, I'll start.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I quit my job today, so that is a low. For my highs, I quit my job today.
I love that.
I'm excited. I don't know. I'm looking forward to what's coming next. I'm not going to bore everybody with the details. It was the right decision for me. I'm moving on. At the end of the day, though, like it is one of those like weird.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. It's one of those weird things that you have to come across, especially as we're starting this, right? Like at the same time, like it's high and but
For the
like
record,
I said,
for the record, Matt didn't quit his job for this podcast.
No,
Just
no,
making
no,
that
no.
clear.
No, I did
two
not.
two separate trains moving at the same time.
Yeah, no. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for saying that. But no, I'm looking forward to the future. I again, I'm still trying to process it all myself, but
sure.
I do think it's a high more than a low.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it was just a very easy answer when Alec asked me that question. What's your high and low? It's like, well, I mean, I kind of am going through it at the moment. So.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'll be there with you every step of the way. You can lean on me, and I think that's a great way to look at it too. I mean, it sucks leaving a place that you've invested time and energy into, but at the same time, if that's not where you're valued and it's not a good fit for you, I think there's nothing wrong with moving on.
Yeah, it was the right choice. I'm just gonna keep going back to it. The right choice for me. So, What about you?
Okay, lows of the week. Let's start there because I want to end on a higher note. Lows of the week. I have been working in office all week, which is again somewhat non-typical of me. I have at least recently been working mostly remote. Going back into the office is just a little bit change of pace. I gotta wake up earlier. I don't love commuting. It's been a little bit taxing for me, considering the little bit more freedom.
And you're going in because of a new hire, right?
Going in because of a new hire, which I'm very excited for in the new hire. But going into work, making the drive, losing that commuting time when I could easily put that back into working. And then just the flexibility around, life outside of work has been a little bit more challenging, which I'm still getting used to. So I don't think it's going to go on past this week. Hopefully, I think I'll be back remote at least for some amount of time starting next week.
Give us the high.
High of the week, I think, is starting this pod with you, man. I didn't have something mapped out or pre-thought of, but that came to mind. I think that's an obvious first choice. I like where we're going with this, and obviously you're one of my best friends, and I think there's nothing I'd rather do than sit around and talk sports and fishing with you, man. So,
no, I appreciate it. Feeling is mutual.
So that's my high of the week.
Cool.
I mean, I guess before we wrap up here, any last words from you?
No, I'm just very excited. I'm excited to be talking to the viewers, talking sports, talking fishing, talking outdoor stuff. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to be starting this as well. Like that would be a high if
for sure.
That's definitely a high for me as well. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to next week already, and I'm excited for March Madness, dude. Let's watch some fucking games.
Yeah, let's watch some games, dude. Alrighty, guys. Well, we'll cut it off there. Thanks for being with us this week. You can follow us on Instagram at Parlays and Paddles, where you can also find us on TikTok at Parlays and Paddles, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, Parlays, letter N, and Paddles. Maddie, where can we find you?
Yeah, hit me up on Real Matty Kush, Instagram, Twitter, or X as the kids like to call it now.
Yep.
Yeah, hit me up there.
And if you're interested in following me, nymphing on everything, be sure to, like, comment, follow, whatever. And we'll see you next week, guys.
See you later.
Peace.